Do you think part of an issue might be sort of a backlog in the system, and that sort of crimes will be committed, but it'll take ages for something to work through the system for any, whether they get sentenced or whatever, whatever the outcome is.
Yeah, and of course, at all stages, because of largely because of COVID, there was, there's a backlog at all stages. If the police can't deal with things, then that then impacts on the investigation, that then impacts on the file being handed to the CPS, and then the case being taken to court. So it's important that at all stages, if we're going to take, if we say that we want the lower level crimes to be taken as as seriously as they are, that whole system is pretty seamless. And like I say, that's the role that local government plays in that is particularly small. But where I think you're correct is in suggesting that prevention, making sure that we have good community infrastructure, good community policing in place to try and prevent those lower level crimes from occurring, is another good way forward. They will always happen, but trying to reduce that is another way of reducing burden on the system.
And I suppose because Southampton has much higher crime on average than Portsmouth, which obviously isn't far. Do you think there's something about maybe the way Southampton has dealt with crime in the past that has led to this sort of much higher rate compared to a neighbouring city?
I think well, that may well be true, but there are other factors involved as well. We're of course a marginally larger city. We have a merchant port predominantly, whereas Portsmouth is obviously mostly Navy, Royal Navy, and that does have an impact on the type of operation of the port that we have. The commercial imports, that naturally leads to potentially more drugs coming in, therefore more gangs. And so the sort of demographic and the layout of the city is quite different to Portsmouth. But that's not to say that we shouldn't be tackling these things. We absolutely should, and that's why I'd like to see a lot more of these community police stations reopened. I know that the Police and Crime Commission is working on that, and also ensuring that the police have the resources they need to conduct, as I just said earlier, those more complex investigations which are now emerging as time goes on. So that's not just on the ground crime, that's white collar crime, cyber crime, and so on, which of course affects all of our residents.